Ducati has already closed its 2027 grid at 6 bikes, every seat signed before the British Grand Prix, and the rider the paddock keeps calling the heir to that factory team holds a contract that expires the same year as the champion he is supposed to inherit from. Pedro Acosta was announced as the future. Ducati used that word itself. What Ducati never explained is why the deal covering that future stops before the future begins. So here is the question nobody asked out loud. What did Ducati actually sign Acosta for? And if the succession is not written into his contract, whose contract is it written into? This is bigger than a silly season line because of what 2027 actually is. The 850cc reset wipes the hierarchy off the board. No ride height devices, far less aerodynamics, Pirelli tyres, every Ducati rolling out of the same blank machine on day one. When every bike is identical in February, the only thing separating 6 riders is who gets the parts that come after. Ducati will build 6 of these bikes. Only 4 are getting development updates through the year. That is not a perk. That is the pecking order of an entire season, decided in an office before anyone turns a lap. Start with what the paddock believes, because the belief came from Ducati itself. On the 23rd of June, Ducati confirmed Marc Marquez through the end of 2028. 1 day later, it confirmed Acosta into the second factory seat, 2 hours after Francesco Bagnaia's exit went public. 24 hours, 3 announcements, and a story that wrote itself. Except the terms tell a different story. Acosta's deal covers 2027 and 2028. Marquez's extension covers 2027 and 2028. 2 riders, 1 garage, 1 shared expiry date. Marquez will be 35 when that contract runs out. Acosta will be 24. If Ducati truly believed it had found the man to take over when Marquez stops, it had every reason to tie him down for the years after. It chose not to. Ducati anointed a successor and gave him no contract for the season he would actually succeed in. Here is where Ducati's own language starts working against it. When the signing was confirmed, Gigi Dall'Igna said, "Pedro represents the ideal candidate for the future of the Ducati Lenovo team. Put that beside a 2-year contract, and it stops sounding like a coronation. It sounds like a trial period with excellent marketing." And this is where it changes. Acosta is not the only rider Ducati quietly locked to 2028. Back in March, months before any factory news broke, Ducati settled its situation with Fermin Aldeguer. He had an exit clause he could have used this season, and offers from factory teams. He turned them down, agreed to serve out the last 2 years of his Ducati deal, moved into the VR46 garage for 2027, and was told something no announcement mentioned. He would be on the same factory specification bike as the works riders, taking updates almost when the factory team does. And oh yeah, there is one more part of this, and almost nobody picked it up. Aldeguer signed directly with Ducati, not with VR46. Then in July, the Volkswagen cost cut stripped that back. Only Marquez and Acosta keep factory contracts in 2027, and VR46 pays Aldeguer now. The machinery stayed. The paperwork did not. So count the expiry dates again. Marquez, 2028. Acosta, 2028. Aldeguer, 2028. 3 riders, 3 separate announcements, 1 identical deadline. Then look at what Ducati still will not say out loud. On the 2nd and 3rd of July, it renewed the Gresini and VR46 deals. VR46's own release confirmed the garage would field 1 factory specification bike that takes technical updates through the season, and 1 standard bike that does not. It named neither rider. Ducati has still not publicly confirmed who holds that package, even though reporting has pointed at Aldeguer since March. Why would the best-run operation in the paddock leave its most valuable satellite decision unsaid for 4 months? On the 31st of July, Ducati and VR46 closed the other side of the box and signed Nicolo Bollega out of World Superbike, after clause disagreements dragged the deal past every expected deadline. Bollega was not sold a dream. As a rookie, You have to accept things in your first year that a top rider doesn't have to put up with, he said in July, adding that if he wanted to take this step, he would have to make sacrifices in the first year. He said he was not just talking about money. He said he meant everything. He pushed for the latest specification, then signed for the other bike anyway. Now, the pattern. Ducati has spent 2026 locking down every structural piece of its future, except the one everybody assumed was already solved. The team agreements with VR46 and Gresini run through at least 2029. Dall'Igna said it plainly when those renewals landed, that Ducati is delighted to continue this journey through at least 2029. 6 bikes, 2 partner teams, a guaranteed footprint for 3 more seasons. And not one rider is contracted into that final year. Not Marquez, not Acosta, not Aldeguer. Ducati secured the garages and left the seats open. It committed to the shape of 2029 and committed to nobody who would ride in it. From the sharpest operation in this paddock, that is not an oversight. That is a decision. People thought Ducati picked Marquez's successor in June. Ducati did not pick anyone. It set a deadline, then invited 3 riders to spend 2 seasons fighting over a year none of them owns. Look at how neatly it is arranged. Acosta gets the factory garage and the headline. Aldeguer gets the development parts and the factory machinery without the pressure of the works colours. Marquez gets the same window as both. Whoever wins the argument inside Ducati across 2028 wins 2029. And Ducati never has to sack anybody to change its mind. So let us be honest about what happened in June. Ducati did not name an heir. It built a hedge, then wrapped it in the language of a coronation, because language costs nothing and a contract costs everything. Acosta walks into the best bike in MotoGP, holding the weakest position in the room. No deal past 2028. No seniority against a rider with 7 Premier Class titles. And a satellite rider on factory hardware whose contract expires the same day his does. Every result he posts in 2027 is not simply a result. It is an audition for a seat he has already been publicly promised and never actually been given. Make no mistake, this is how Ducati has always worked. It does not pick favourites in advance. It builds the conditions and lets the stopwatch pick for it. Bagnaia learned that this year, after 2 titles and 8 years of loyalty, Acosta gets to learn it in 2028. The man who inherits Ducati is not the man who got the announcement. It is whoever ends up holding the update package nobody at Ducati has been willing to put a name to. The question was never who Ducati chose. It is what Ducati refused to write down. So who is really on that factory bike in 2029? The name on the poster or the name on the update list? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.